Hi, Kevin. It's so nice to
Hi,
talk to you
Ashley.
today. So I thought it was really great that Sean Payton had a cameo at the end of the film. Were you able to spend a lot of time with him to kind of prepare for the role? And was that the real Vince Lombardi trophy? Did he actually let you touch it?
Uh, Word is out that it is real. We've been debating back and forth. I feel like that was the real trophy. And I also heard that Netflix just did not have the budget to create a fake one. So we were completely out of money. And they just said, if we can't get it, we have to go with, a runner-up trophy or something. Somebody had to bring in a little league trophy or something like that. We had to mock it up and try to make that in. So whatever that trophy was, I think it actually worked. So I think it was the actual one.
That's awesome.
Working with Sean was great. Sean was amazing. I learned so much just spending time with him and learning about the greatest season of coaching in his life, which is that season. He took the Warriors to the championship and they lost, but it was just amazing for him. And it was such a cool emotional story for me to hear and to be able to portray. So it was fun.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Joel, you have the next question.
Hi, Joel from Daddy's Grounded. Big fan. Enjoyed the
Hey,
movie.
Joel.
I was wondering what it was like to work with this group of kids. They all seem to have so much energy in the movie, and a lot of your comedy was kind of like the very subdued, clever. I loved it. What was that dynamic like?
The kids were amazing. They were fun, but they're kids too. So there's halfway through, you're like, okay, I got to take a break from everybody and just going to go stand outside in the rain by myself. And then you come back in. No, but they were amazingly talented group. And they most of them were athletes to begin with, which blew me away that they could do all this stuff. And the ones that weren't learned literally on the set there. They had a camp, a football camp that they taught all these kids and how to play football. And that's what blew me away. Their ability to be able to make it look real, because you're making a football movie, you have to make the hits look real and really get in there and be able to do it. Otherwise, it's the first thing you can spot, that these kids weren't athletes. And they were amazing at that. Fun kids. And they kind of bonded right away. That camp really helped, where they all came in and started playing together and learning together. And I think they became kind of really tight friends, and it worked. And they were just fun. They were a bunch of kids from all over the place that just came together and were very excited to be in the movie and be a part of it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Lynette, you have the next question.
Hi, Kevin. Lynette with Fantastic Life. Nice to see
Hi,
you.
Lynette. Nice to see you.
So assistant coach Mitch is quite the character. So was it difficult staying in character when you had scenes with your brother?
Yeah, it was. My brother, every time we worked together, I like to put him in different weird stuff and this one was centered around a push broom mustache that was just ridiculous. And when we started too, by the way, we had it so big that it was just, he couldn't deal with it. It was actually too much. We couldn't even understand what he was saying. So I love it because it gives character. I'll shave his head. I'll do whatever, whatever it may be to give him. It gives me joy, first of all, to be able to do that to my brother. And then it gives him something character-wise to kind of grab onto. And he cracked us all up with that, though. He was just a very funny version of that character. Plus the body with the belly in front. We just loved it. It was just, it just all came together. And I think he made us laugh the most with his character.
Thank you.
Robin, you have the next question.
Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Robin.
It's great to be here with you today. My name's Robin Davis from momthemagnificent.com. And my question for you is, I know in real life you're a big football fan and you've had a big experience already playing the game. So was this a hard role for you to jump into, or did it come pretty natural for you playing the coach?
Well, I've never been a coach before. So, I mean, the sport of football, being out there and understanding team sports, I've been part of sports my whole life. So I love that. But it was the intricacies of being, Sean Payton and watching how he guided this team, the Super Bowl team, and also, his kids team to that championship was fun for me. It was fun to kind of dig into that I other than my kids' little league, I did little league with my kid. I never really coached kids before in that kind of format. So it was fun, and it's different. You see how he coaches the obviously the Super Bowl winning Saints to one way, and you got to deal with the kids the other way, a little bit. But there's some things that transfer, that it's like, hey man, toughen up. And he knew exactly where to step on the gas with kids and treat them more like the pros, and when to back off. And he's amazing at that.
It's a great film. Thank you.
Thank you.
Art Eddie, you have the next question.
Thanks. Hey, Kevin. Art Eddie here from The Art of Fatherhood. Love the movie and, of course, the story. I'm a big football fan. In the movie, we see, Sean Payton getting to spend more time with his kids and all that. And, even the documentary that his daughter made for him and just kind of documenting what he did, you see, like, he learned so much and he learned a lot from his kids. So for you, what is something that your kids have taught you about life or about yourself in general that you'd like to share?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I'll have to teach you that it's an ongoing process, man. I'm learning every day from my kids. Right now, I've learned that I'd say 3 of them are already smarter than I will ever be. So it's like, I still got the only because she's 7, but she's gaining on me quick. So it's like, I have to keep up, and that's pros and cons. They can, they're so smart, that it's amazing, and you're proud and this and that. And then they can manipulate you, and you got to watch out for that too, because they'll use it, and they will. But I learn from them all the time. It's like, and I've learned from this movie, from being around Sean and watching what he did, and that, taking that downtime of being suspended from the NFL, and then turning it into a massive positive about spending time with his kids. I've got to do that, because we all get wrapped up in work, so much. And it is important to obviously fulfill your work duties and all that. But man, it was, I recently pulled out and kind of stopped and just emptied out my schedule to be in a play with my kids, to do that, because they love doing it. And so I'm in Oliver now. I'm Fagin and Oliver. I've got 2 more performances, and it's great. I'm with all 4 of my kids in this play, and man, there's nothing that substitutes spending time with them, so, to be able to do that. I get it when Sean says it was the greatest season of coaching in his life. You see it. It's like, man, what beats that? Where else would you rather be?
No doubt. Thank you very much. Love the answer, sir. Thanks.
Thank you.
Tobin, you have the next question.
Hey, Kevin, this is Tobin Walsh. I'm from The Good Bad Dad, and I've somehow infiltrated the mommy set here. So
Yeah.
Me, Art, and Joel are carrying the flag. Hey, so I love the movie. One of the scenes my kids went wild for when we watched it was when all the kids were vomiting from from the rolls or whatever. So give me a good vomit story from your personal life with your kids.
Yes, I've had a couple, but the thing with vomit in my family is I'm the worst with it. Like, if it happens, I go full tilt. So every time one of my kids vomits, there's always a follow. It's like, when you have an earthquake and it's the aftershock that is usually worse. I'm the aftershock, and depending on what I ate that day, it's going to make an appearance. So it depends, my family knows if it happens like at night where I've had a full day of food, we're going to have a show. We're going to have a show after, so it's not fun. It's not a fun thing. That's why my wife, thank God, she can handle it and get in there and clean that stuff up. But if I'm near it, I'm done. I'm out. So I've tried to do it. I've tried to because if I get a smell of it at all, I'm gone. And I've taken Band-Aids with little, cologne. You put it on little dabs of cotton and you put them in your nose and you tape the thing up. And as soon as I go over there, it doesn't matter. I see it. I catch a smell through the band. What it does, it goes off. And it's not a pretty scene.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm right there with you, brother.
Yeah.
Cami, you have the next question.
Hi, Kevin. I'm Kami.
Hi, Kami.
I write for the mamadiaries.com. So I watched the movie over the weekend with my kids, and they're 8 and 12, as well as my parents. So it was your full multi-generational movie night, which was awesome because I love when movies, the whole family can actually enjoy them. So that was really appreciated. I know you've worked with Happy Madison Productions in the past a few times, and I'd love to know what it's like working with them because it seems like it would be a lot of fun.
Oh, I mean, beyond. You just know exactly what you're going to get when, from top to bottom with Sandler. He's honestly the greatest I've ever worked with, the most talented, the funniest. He just knows how to run a show and give people what they want and do it in a way that everybody feels valued and feels great. It's like he builds such a team and it's such a family that, man, as soon as he calls me, I'm like, yes, okay. My first answer is yes, always. And then it's like, how can we work it out? How can we do this and that? Because of how well he does it. And he's done it for years. And I'm just so grateful to be a part of that group. But he literally runs every set like it's a family. You talk to him. And that's why he's had, so many people be so loyal to him over the years, because he's just so great.
Thanks so much. We really enjoyed the film.
Thank you.
Melissa, you have the next question.
Hi, Kevin. I'm Mel from the Mommyhood Chronicles. I absolutely love the movie. Just
great.
watched it last night. It was great. I want to know, just being like a Taylor Lautner fan, how was it working with him?
He is just, I'm like you. I couldn't get through scenes because I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Taylor Lautner. There's just a different respect for him, because when you could be in a scene with somebody, in the middle of that scene, he can do a backflip if he wants to. It just gives you a different outlook on things. I can't move like he can. He's a great guy. He's honestly the sweetest guy in the world. He got engaged now. I'm happy for him. I don't think, I work with Jerry Stiller and beautiful people like that. And he's right up there. He's like one of the nicest guys. You get to work. He's just a great person. And it's, so much fun to work with him. He gets it. He rolls with things. He's funny. Good looking dude, smart guy, strong, everything. You almost get angry. It almost goes the other way when you think about it too much. You go, hey, where's the, a little bit enough already. All right, Taylor. So it does turn. If you think about it too much, it'll turn.
Thank you so much. Love the
You're
answer
welcome.
too.
Thank you.
Jenny, you have the next question. Jana?
So, Kevin, I have, kind of like a serious question when everybody else had these like really fun questions, but you have this major, comedic background, and this role has obviously a fair amount of comedy in it, but it has a lot of heart too. And there are a lot of moments of seriousness tied with the levity. How do you kind of approach that as more of a traditional comedian than, somebody who tackles more of these kind of dramatic roles?
I think the story dictates, it's like if the story, asks for jokes or needs jokes or feels like it needs that in comedy, and there's a little bit of it in there, but I am a little bit more of a straight man in certain things in this way. It's more of the way Sean reacted in all this, and Sean's very funny, so it was great to be with him and press the gas on the comedy for a little bit, and then be able to sit back and be the guy who's reacting to it, when the comedy's happening around him. And there was plenty of that with the kids and, in the movie. It's nice to switch gears every once in a while and to really hit those emotional scenes and kind of have that, because they also highlight the comedy when it pops, when it does come, the comedy again, after an emotional scene, you're more invested in the movie. And then, that the comedy moments pop more. And they were great. It was a great balance in this movie for me, and it was just a great joy to play somebody who, can be funny, but also very serious. And was an emotional guy. I loved how emotional he was really when I was talking to him. He's a Super Bowl winning coach, and he was crying, telling me, like, he teared up a couple times when he was just talking about spending that time with his son, and what it meant to him. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. This is awesome. You can just see the connection. And I was like, that's what meant the most to me.
It's great.
Great.
I loved it.
Ashley, you have the
Great,
next
thanks.
question.
So you were kind of mentioning the comedy with everybody else surrounding you. This cast is packed with notoriously funny people, yourself included. Were there a lot of opportunities to improvise the script, and did any of it make it into the final cut?
Yeah, I think stuff with Rob Schneider, he was just ridiculous. I think a lot of stuff with him got in there. We would just roll the cameras, and he would just kind of go off on his kind of crazy stuff. He was fantastic. And stuff with my brother Gary, he did stuff too. And I mean, and the kids even, once we got what we needed, it was great to the Canadians who directed this thing, the brothers were so great at letting kids be kids. And a lot of the footage you see is kids really just bonding with each other. They were really, they would just like roll the cameras, don't say anything, because you don't want to force these scenes so much, but there were a lot of scenes where the guys were together and supposed to be as a group. And it would be like, don't tell them anything. They were doing that on their own. They were doing it naturally. So he would do that. They would do that and let them get together. And we would get a lot of funny stuff from these kids, the way they acted. And they were great. It made me really have to say, oh gosh, I got to bring my game up. My goodness, these guys are good. They're funny. They had timing. They were really good. It was really impressive.
It was hilarious. And I agree. Schneider's the scenes with Connor and just like, oh, that one time at the bathhouse, I was like, oh God.
Yeah. Just ridiculous.
Thank you.
Joel, you have the next question.
Can you tell me anything about like the casting process for this, how you ended up in this role and maybe a couple of the other people?
That would be a question for Sandler, how I ended up, because, whatever popped into his mind to think that I could, play Sean Payton, that's completely in his crazy mind. But once he put me in and then I was able to do it, the script was great. Chris Tone, he did a good job writing that script, and I was in. And once I was in, we just kind of went through the process of finding these kids, and that was the big thing, and the surrounding cast, of course. But the biggest thing was just to find kids that were athletes where they needed to be, and some less. It was tricky because these kids have to start off like they're not the best team, and grow to be a really kind of good unit of, athletes. And that it's hard to sell sometimes. You can't, sell kids doing that. So, and we, that challenge with, the COVID and all that stuff and shutdown and stuff, we can't have kids coming in and we couldn't have doubles that much, it's like, it was a tough time. So we had to really show these kids do this, and they had to perform, and they did. They stepped up, and like I said, they were amazing. So it was that process of finding great faces to look at, great talented kids who could also be athletes and look real when they needed to be. That was the challenge, I think, for this thing. And some of them had to sing. They had to sing in the movie, and I mean they're all crazy talented. That's what blew me away, that they can do all these things.
Thanks.
All right, with about 1 minute left, we have time for one final quick question. Lynette, you have that question.
No pressure. You shared a lot, but are there any other fun facts that you can think of that maybe the audience doesn't already know about the film?
I'll tell you this, you don't know that it was about 135 to 145 degrees on those fields every day in New Orleans. These poor kids, it was crazy. They were great. So we had to take breaks. We'd water them down. They were calm. Everybody got through safe. And it was amazing that way. The Netflix did a great job there. We took care of everybody, but the field itself was crazy hot. It would get like, because you had to water them. And the water on the field would like literally steam up. So you get like a facial. It was nice. So my skin was fantastic, but it was moist. It was very, I'm a sweaty guy to begin with, and we don't need to get into it really, but let's just say, yeah, you get me.
I get it. Thank you.